live backstage. I'm still staring at you, Kim. You're the person. That's not a person. Hi, people. We're broadcasting live ACL Fest 2018. I make Facebook Live as awkward as possible for our Kim over here because I don't know what to do with all that. There's people watching, dude. It's kind of weird.
I get it. It's weird.
Joined by Hozier. Thank you so much for stopping by, sir.
No, thank you.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas.
Pleasure. Yeah.
We were just chatting about how this is your second ACL Fest.
Second ACL. Yeah. I think last year was no, not last year. Sorry, I believe it was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
The year before, I was sick. I came down with like laryngitis, and I came down with the flu midway on the road. So I had to wait a year before playing ACL before I would have done. But I have to say, it was one of my favorite shows I ever did in the States. Genuinely, the crowd were off the charts. Yeah, they were just so amazing. I was just really, really uplifting audience. Yeah.
So with the festival in general, because you've played a lot of festivals over the past several years.
Yeah,
how does it add up as festival wise?
I really dig it. I have to say, there's a nice. Maybe it's partly that Austin is such a musician's town and such a music town. There's a lovely sense backstage of kind of community, of kind of musician community, and kind of like a sense of I don't know, people just getting on and enjoying. Like a lot of festivals aren't as social. I don't know if that's something of the layout or whatever, but there's a nice vibe backstage. It's like people are chatting and getting on and like enjoying a beer and
I was going to ask about that. Is there a lot of camaraderie? Are there artists? This is where I get to hang out, the media area with all the media schleps. But like the backstage where the artists are, do you guys actually have a little compound where you hang out and you break bread together and drink beers?
There's a nice spot. There's another Irish band called the Coronas who are here, and I would know them and get to hang out. A lot of festivals, you see, because people are doing promo so often and it's stage chimes and whatever. Yeah. And also, if people are jittery or have got pre-show nerves, a lot of times people want to be alone. But there's a good vibe here. I've been definitely I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. There's a really nice ACL has a really lovely vibe.
Well, we're glad to have you back, sir.
Yeah, thank you, man.
With that in mind, now if we're talking about doing big festivals and playing in front of 30,000 people. Or do you prefer the days of small stages and more intimate performances where you can see the people sitting in the audience?
That's a hard one. It's two different types of highs. Like it's like one is I think there's nothing like a sweaty club or a bar stage. Yeah. There's nothing like a small theater as well too. You're kind of there's an intimacy to that. You can talk to the audience conversationally. You can kind of like you can joke with them. You can look them in the eye.
Right.
When you're on a stage like this, it's you're just mainlining energy though. Like you're mainlining like just a different vibe altogether. So it's there's nothing like a big crowd either. You know.
I can see how. Obviously, big crowds would be intimidating, and most people are afraid of large crowds, especially speaking in front of or performing in front of big crowds. Yeah. But I can also, I can identify with how it's nerve-wracking to speak to a small crowd, like a more intimate thing, because there's not that safety net in between you and them. Like they can actually reach out and touch you and talk to you directly and ask you a question that might make you feel uncomfortable. You don't like that, do you?
No, totally. And if somebody in a small crowd decides to pipe up and tell you to go F yourself, like it's the rest of the room's gonna hear it. You know what I mean? But like a big crowd like that, not so much.
I'll tell you. I'll make a long story very short, but of course, like here in Austin, everyone's a musician. Everyone's playing in a band. So I was in a crappy band years ago, and we had this one stupid song where at the very end we sing about hot dogs, hot dog wieners.
Love it.
And we thought it would be funny at the end of the show because it was our last song that we would throw hot dog wieners out to the crowd. We thought how funny. But you know what we didn't think about? Those would immediately come back at you. So we literally had wieners flying at us. For the last song, it was grand.
There's a joy in that of itself. Like
I would recommend that today when you're done, throw out some hot dogs. Yeah, they will not come back at you.
Skimming out hot dogs. Yeah. Love it.
Yes, things to think about in the future.
Totally, man. You live and learn.
Where do you call home nowadays?
Where do I go home? When I'm home, I have a small place in Ireland, so I still call Ireland home. When I'm touring, I might only be home, here and there, brief, very, very small amounts of time. A few points during the year, but when I was working on this current record that will be releasing soon, I went home, lived in the countryside, and lived alone as much as possible, and worked on it there. So to me, that's a nice vibe. Like I've just it's quiet, and that helps me write, I suppose. as well.
Are you a social guy? I mean, are you a social drinker, or you're a socially conscious dude, or do you prefer your time alone?
I definitely recharge the batteries alone, I would say, but I do have a lot of fun with people. I think when I was living in and out of the city, I spent enough time on the road in cities, and I spent enough time on the road, like drinking and having fun and like
being around people.
Yeah, and laughing. Yeah, totally. So there's something nice to be able to unplug, and the city is always there. Like, you know, there's always a drink to be had, so there's always a party to be had somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so having a nice place to unplug and having space and time around you is a.
And is that where you got to find the headspace to do writing? Do you need quiet? Do you need quiet time, or do you find inspiration from the hustle and bustle?
For me personally, I need a bit of time and quiet. I maybe soak up the inspiration from the madness and then
take it home with you.
Take it home and process it there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, are you currently working on some new stuff?
Yeah. So we're just at the kind of the end of the mixing phase for the mixing and mastering for the record, for the next like long play. Released an EP there a couple of weeks ago. We're releasing one more single before Christmas, which is one of my favorites off the record, and then early next year we'll have the album out.
So
the
your
new album.
LP is coming then?
Yeah, early next year.
Are you still into writing LPs? Like, I ask a lot of bands this because it seems the evolution of music is leaning towards EPs because of the record cycle and how quick things move, how quickly information moves nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like bands really don't have enough time to support an entire LP. An EP is the cycle. You know, a couple of songs, get out on the road, get back in the studio, record.
Totally.
So do you think you're sticking to the LP side?
For the most part, but I did lead with an EP on this one, and for the reasons that music is consumed so quickly, music is absorbed so quickly, and people move on from it. It is released quickly, it's made quickly, and whatever. So it's kind of certainly not the way I make it, but I did lead with an EP just because it was nice to reintroduce. I felt like I've been gone long enough. Nice to reintroduce the work and also stagger it a little bit, because as you say, an LP can be just, you know.
Well, it's just again like the record cycle with the company. You're talking 2-3 years, and if you're not pumping out new music in 2 or 3 years, it's almost like you get left behind so quickly. There's so many young bands and they're pumping out music constantly. SoundCloud's like it's just. How do you possibly keep up? Do you feel pressure like, man, I gotta write prolifically, I gotta put out more songs now?
There is that pressure that's there. I think I felt really, really fortunate, like that I got just a great listenership or a great fan base that I've been eager for new work. You know, I've gone the EP route. The first time around, the first album I did was like 2 EPs and then a long play, and then went back to an EP this time around. But I think I don't know. I'm not too worried in the short term anyway. I think you know we have an LP lined up. We'll be releasing like pretty much a half an LP before we even get there via EP, and
that's something else I've noticed is when LPs are coming out, bands are they'll release 5 songs before the actual release of the album. There'll be a couple of singles, there'll be a couple of just like online video releases, and then a follow-up. Like that's it's like they're getting more of the music out to the people so they can really sample it and consume it so that they know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, and it's handy, I suppose. Labels love that, and maybe bands as well too, because they can course correct. Well, certainly labels would love that because they can course correct based on reaction as to the first few songs. I will say for this LP I definitely recorded a lot more work than can be put on an LP, so I'll probably have songs left over for afterwards to kind of share with people. So there is the way things are going. I mean, sometimes you kind of have to lean into it a little bit and just be ready for the changes that are happening in the way people are listening to music. But
do you self-produce albums, or do you work with different producers?
I work with different producers, but I would kind of we would co-produce it a lot. So at home I would have a studio set up and I would arrange it and produce it as best I can. I'm a shitty engineer though. I wouldn't, so
that's a lot of work, man. That sounds hard. It's very technical.
Yeah. So I wouldn't trust myself too much with the sonics of it, but the arrangement and as much production as I possibly can, and recording all the ideas, and then we get. Is
there a producer out there that's like your dream producer? Is there someone like, oh man, this guy would really hit the sweet spot or challenge me or really change the sound that I'm going for and challenge me with what I want to finish with? There's a
few producers I would love to work with. I kind of before. I've been very, very fortunate. I worked with Marcus Stravs on this one, and a bit with Rob Kierwan, who produced the last record. I have a great working relationship with him. There is a few producers I'd love to do something much more rhythmic and much more, I don't know, just so kind of. There's always that yearning to write something that's a bit more fun and a bit more just like enjoyable. so like I'm a big fan of Nile Rodgers as well too. Some of the work that he would have done as an arranger. Quincy Jones obviously was a huge in all of some of his work. And I don't know, Brian Eno as well, I have to say, but like it's a tough one. It's a.
And how do you do you call the label and say, "Yo, get these people on the phone," or is it more of like, "Well, we can reach out to the producer, but we got to see if they want to work with you"? Like, how do you go and lock in the people that you really want?
It is a bit of both, I suppose. And then if you have songs that gels with the producer's vision, if the producer has a vision with what you've been working with in your demos, and you just have you've a good meeting of minds there.
Yeah.
Then it works out for everybody. Yeah, I suppose. But producers have so much music that comes by their desk. You know what I mean?
I can only imagine. You know, because there's a lot of those. Not a lot. I know producers that they have that mentality of 2 people. Good.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Good. I got to work at TV or something.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional. I do radio for a living. But there's some of those producers that go out and they'll say, "Hey, bring me 87 songs, and we're going to go through and we're going to get rid of 80 of them, and then bring those 7 we're going to work on. Then you go write 80 more songs.
80 more songs. Yeah.
So I just that would be very daunting.
Yeah, I'm not an 80 song guy. I gotta say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I would maybe be a 40 song or a 30 song guy.
Plus, Hozier's got festivals to do. You're a busy man. You've got things to do.
Yeah, we all. Yeah.
I'm assuming you'll be here next weekend as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
Really can't wait. I'll have even more time to check out the lineup, which I'm really excited about. It's an amazing lineup, dude. David Byrne.
This is this is every year is a solid lineup, but this is the one that I've been most excited about in a very long time. And the fact that they've kind of rolled in some of the metal acts with Deftones. I'm a huge fan of Deftones, and of course Metallica. It's Metallica. Like it's Metallica.
It's outrageous. Yeah.
So it's going to be a good time. Are you going to try and get out and see Metallica? Or
I am. So we fly out of here. It's like Saturday and Sunday. I won't be around. Friday today is promo, but next week. Man, David Byrne, myself and Father John Misty sadly are on at the very same time, which is kind of breaking my heart a little bit. National, obviously, I'm a big fan.
And you can catch a Beatle, though. You can catch a Beatle tonight.
I can catch a Beatle. Paul McCartney. Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Things could be worse.
Yes. Oh my God, man, it's great.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by this afternoon, my friend.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the shows tonight.
Thank you. I will do.
Be safe out there, and if you need someone to host you around Austin, Texas, I know some people.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate your time. I don't want to take up too much of it. If you want to relax for a moment, feel free.
Thank you. I think this man is my timekeeper.
You off?
He's my timekeeper in the same way. So I follow.
Do what he says.
Yeah, exactly.